Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Virginia City Council chambers. This is a regularly scheduled committee of the whole meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. Today's date is Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. The time is 9 a.m. Britt?
First item on the agenda is Mr. Matt Reed from SEH with a request to approve a resolution establishing a municipal state aid street.
Good morning, Matt, our engineer record from SCH.
Good morning.
Morning.
So this is a follow-up to the exchange with the county last fall. As you recall, October 1st, Borgen Road is officially now a county road. Hoover Road is now officially a city street. Hoover Road is quite a bit shorter than Borgen Road. And both were, well, Hoover was listed as a county state aid highway. Borgen was listed as a municipal state aid highway. That's one of our streets that we had on our system. As we flip-flopped, Hoover Road is still on our state aid system. Borgen Road is no longer. So we have some extra mileage that we can, without getting into the details of how the state aid system works, we can draw some more money to help pay for improvements to our state aid system. When you're designating state aid routes, they have to have certain criteria that they meet. You can't just pick some random residential street in the middle of the city somewhere. It has to connect to county roads or state highways, or connect to another road that connects to a county road or a state highway. It's got to be I guess I would call it a thoroughfare through town. And if you look at our state aid system right now, you'll kind of see that's how that's set up. So as I did some research, we had, I think it was about 0.7 miles, if I remember right. I probably got it on here. Yeah, 0.71 miles that we had available to us. And as I started looking at different parts of town, knowing some of the areas that we needed, I was able to find a corridor up in Midway that is right about 0.71 miles, and that stretches along Cuyuna Drive, Vermilion Trail, or Vermilion Drive, and then out Anderson Road out and hits Borgen Road, which is again now a CASA. So we're basically connecting 53 to CASA, whatever number it is, Borgen Road. So I moved forward with at least getting preliminary approval from state aid, and they approved it. So I'm bringing it forward to the council. Of course, I'm wide open to hearing if people have other ideas, other thoughts. I'm wide open to it. It just will have to meet that criteria and that mileage that we have available. If we can get the resolution passed, we can get it included in what's called your needs this fiscal year, which means we can draw funds for it this year. We won't have to wait till next year. So I'm bringing it forward to you. I've gone through the process to get the preliminary approval. What we need to do next is get the resolution passed, back to state aid, and ultimately it will get funneled into their system and should get approved without any question, knowing that we got the preliminary approval. So it's a good thing. It gets us some more state aid money. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, or if you guys, again, if you have other ideas or other routes you'd like me to look at, I can certainly do that.
Thank you, Matt. Before we go to the rest of the council, that Midway Drive that stretches from the old hotel, Cuyuna Drive, straight down the road all the way past right to Anderson Drive, there's a dead end there, right? When we would get to the Borgen Road, with the new change in the highway system, there's a dead end there. And so there's a reroute all the way around, but it does go to the Borgen Road and then up into Anderson Drive. So I think that's prudent to do though. So, and just for the public's edification, the reason that we did this for a variety of reasons, but one of the main reasons is that we have Borgen Road, which was a city street, and it's now going to be a county road. And so this is the opportunity. It's such a deteriorated street, and the cost associated with redoing that street was absolutely really it was cost prohibitive. And now with the county having on board and having some discussion with the county, it could be completely redone with the county sales tax, transportation sales tax, and relieve the burden of any assessments to the homeowners up there and provide a repaired street, not just an overlay. So that's one of the reasons. There are others as well. So I'll go to Councillor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. Matt, I think this is an excellent idea. It makes complete sense, and thank you so much for taking the initiative. Awesome. And with that, I would go ahead and approve the resolution. Support.
Councillor Paulson moves to approve the resolution, a request to approve to establish the Mission State Aid Street, supported by Councillor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Anything else on the agenda that you have today? Okay. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Okay. Number two, Mr. Link is not coming today. And number three, we are not moving forward. We're not ready for number three as of yet. Moving forward. And so we'll move to item 4. Brett?
Item number 4 is Fire Chief Scott Frederickson with 2 requests, or a request and a discussion regarding the ISO rating.
So the request is to approve a resolution to apply for and accept funds from the State Office of Emergency Management Services. Assistant Chief Frederickson.
Mayor, council, everyone, good morning. With this emergency funding, this was from the last legislative session. What came out of it was that ambulance deficit program, I believe it was called. And for all ambulance services, it's just that, working in the deficit. The state's chipping in money. So we were awarded, I don't have that total in front of me, 152,000, somewhere in there.
Yes.
And part of the acceptance of those funds is to designate a purchase for that, which we've deemed our largest safety item would be our power cot systems in our ambulances. They have expired. Those who do the maintenance have said they're inoperable. These are back injuries for our people and also comfort for our patients. Those units are just over $30,000 a piece. That's for the cot, that's for the receiving end in the ambulances. So we won't be able to get all 6 with these funds, but it'll go a long way towards it.
Thank you. Council?
I'll move the approval.
Councilor Paulson moves to approve the resolution to apply for and accept funds from the State Office of Emergency Management Services. Is there support?
Support.
By Councilor Bachschneider. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, it's a little quick there.
What do we have now?
Put that in.
Okay.
What do we have? Oh, okay, there. Thank you very much. Item 4B. Can you, for the general public and for the education of the rest of the council and staff, what is ISO?
ISO is Insurance Services Office, and I'll go over that definition here shortly.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Bear with me. All right, there we go. Great job.
Thank you, Britt.
Yes, thank you, Brett. That's it wasn't part of the presentation, but that's firefighters and technology right there. So, Council, thanks for your time today. We have a couple presentations planned for you. Don't worry, only one today. And I wanted to dive into ISO, and more so for myself. In my career, I've always heard it referenced. I've heard, we got to protect our ISO. I wanted to quantify that. Like, what is that? Something more tangible. So that was my goal with all this. And as far as the other presentation, that'll be on an agenda to come. That's one of our driver operators, Tom Werdeman, asked to do end-of-year local and department reports. So I've got a sneak peek and an amazing job that'll be coming soon. So the agenda for this short presentation, just a little bit of background. I will define what ISO is, and I'll also share my findings, and then relate that all into a quick little introduction to our budget and how it works. So for that background, like I just said, I wanted to quantify ISO. To date, in my 22 years here, it's been words. They've been flattering. It's been good. We got to protect it. Again, I'm a numbers guy. I wanted to attempt to grasp, make it more tangible. And I wanted to propose a different viewpoint of that. We do talk about our ambulance PSA, for example. 640 square miles covered and paid for by the 19.2 in our city. And that's a big deal, right? I'm not at all trying to minimize that. That is a huge deal. We'll keep working on it. But the lens I'm proposing is, what does Virginia get because we're here? And that's just trying to flip some of those things. Because we are in a home insurance crisis. Years ago, it would be our nation's coasts and hurricanes. But as we know, we've had 2 summers in a row of, I think I've heard 100-year rains 2 years in a row. I mean, it's worsening. I hope to avoid all national politics with that, but it's bad. Fires used to be randomly in the boundary waters. We had 3 at once to the south of us. The issue's growing, and why it's deemed a crisis is in 2023, half of the agencies that provide home and business insurance left the business. In 2024, half of that remaining half, so we're down to a quarter of the agencies left that provide home and business insurance. And Economy 101, supply and demand, as we know, the less available options for insurance, higher the rates, and we're seeing that as a nation. It also, hearing stories, another drive for this project was hearing stories of residents, not in our city, and there's stories in our city as well, but those in neighboring ISO districts that have a worse score than us just being dropped. Getting a letter saying, due to your ISO, we're not covering you. I would have expected, double the rates, triple the rates, but they're saying no. So that speaks to some of that crisis. So ISO, defined. It's an independent evaluation of a fire department's capabilities, and that's half the score. 10% of it is communications, and 40% is water supply. And this part's important. It's a 1 to 10 scoring system. It's referred to as the PPC, which is the Public Protection Classification. The lower the score, the lower the risk of damage by fire, the lower the premiums on home or business. So low is what you want. In 2019, the Virginia Fire Department received an ISO score of 3. It was a record low for us. We have maintained it since. We are due for an evaluation soon. It does come around every 4 or 5 years. 2019. So that's why I'm here today too, is that when this happens, we do have some needs, and I'll discuss some of those. So again, I've been told that is the best score, single station, operating, beautiful station. Thanks again, by the way, the smiles and crew morale. Wow, it's amazing. So how that's justified, and I'll read through these quick, but it is staffing levels and training records, training hours, fire officer development, driver operator training hours, annual hazmat refreshers, and other trainings. Equipment testing and maintenance records, fire truck pump testing, hose tests, ladder truck, aerial device, annual inspection, and a key word, and I'll touch on it later, is availability. That is, the key word in this is apparatus availability. And then it goes on as CBA maintenance, inspection records, apparatus inventory compliance, pre-fire planning, community risk reduction programs, a lot of what our fire marshal does. Run call reports, including mutual and automatic aid call logs, incident reporting, performing scene size up, personal protective equipment, hazard zone setting up, rehab, incident action plans, etc. So a lot goes into that calculation. It is quite a process. But again, here we are, words, right? So I wanted to dive in. What does an ISO of 3 mean for our city? Wanted a non-biased approach. Let's face it, I see our crews every day. They go above and beyond, and you got to remember, in public safety, we have personal lives and families as well, and traumas and dramas and tragedies and horrific family diagnoses. And our escape from that is to go to work and see everybody else's. If that makes me biased, probably so. So non-biased approach, what are we talking about? We're talking about ISO, we're talking about insurance. I went to the agents in our city who provide insurance. I want to take a moment to thank them. A lot of them gave me a lot of time. I had chicken scratches of notes from all of them, tried to formulate it all, put it all together, make broad views and averages, and present today. Key takeaways is this is difficult to make. This is way more difficult to make tangible, to quantify it than I anticipated. There's so many variables, right? We have new additions, we have old vacant houses, we have all spectrums of sizes and occupancies, the age of home, what they're used for, other usage, prior disasters, etc. It's overwhelming. So it's literally trying to find every one of these conversations. I was just verbally just pushing them in what would you think? But I did record all their answers. I came up with a broad range of 20 to 45% we save on home insurance. So, okay, we're getting closer. I like that. So in hopes of not over-speaking today and easier math, I'm just going to use 25%. It's, again, 20 to 45 is where they all landed in. So now I need what's the average monthly premium for home insurance in our city. And again, all the same variables as before. Again, when, not everyone falls into the 100 to 200 monthly home insurance. Some are way above, some are below, but again, these numbers are from the agents in our town to just try to nail down something as a starting point. So for today's math, I'll use $150 per month per home. My math and PowerPoint, what a bad combo. I'm sorry, I'm almost done with that portion. That really, yeah, coffee break, huh? So if the average residential monthly premium is $150 after the 25% discount, the non-discounted rate would be $200 a month, which equals $50 per month per home discount, or $600 per year. That was eye-opening to me. I forget all the levy numbers, one levy equals, but that's gigantic. I remember texting Brett, how many homes are in our city? And she knew that so fast. That was pretty impressive. Times that by the savings, I came up with $2.9 million in home insurance savings for our city. Again, averages. This isn't, unfortunately, the crisis is here and it's worsening. So people are going to be, as it worsens, that number's going up, and we're not rooting for that, right? We want premiums to come down eventually, and then this number to come down. So it's one of those weird things to get behind. But again, trying to make this tangible. Common things I heard, and what I did just for a broader view, I did contact insurance agents in Duluth. I only deal with Duluth and surrounding areas. I talked to one in the metro, ran into a guy when I was in the cities in a Trader Joe line. He was wearing a Milwaukee shirt with an agency name on it, and we just started chatting, and it was so cool. Like one of those things when you buy a red car, you only see red cars. These are some of the quotes that are from agents in our town and not. And if you want to improve your business recruitment, lower your ISO. When a business wants to build in a certain region, they call the city with the lowest ISO first. And I did go to one of our larger businesses. And I don't have numbers to present on our business insurance. Wow, was that way more difficult to find an average with the different sizes and businesses. But I'm going to keep working on that. Excuse me. I went to one of our larger businesses and educate me. I'm trying to learn our impact. And that gentleman, a regional guy I got to meet with, shook my hand and says, "We're here because you're here." I was taken aback by that, and that's very flattering. He's like, "We recognize on a map where we can put a business, we call the lowest ISO first. That's why we're here." So something I wanted to share. That was really caught me aback, something I hadn't considered. All the agents said ISO business savings exceed that of residential. Communities with low ISO provide the citizens with all the home insurance options, meaning back to that supply and demand. We're not here. I mean, when we're here, where ISO is, all those remaining 25% of the companies are here as well, which it is a crisis. I can't say it's driving down the market, but it's going to be the best option or provide the best options. So I'll tie this into our budget, and I promise I'll be done soon. I don't have year-end 2025 data yet, but 2024 I went off of. Our fire budget, approximately $2.3 million. Our EMS budget was 3.8, total of $6.1 million. But it only cost the general fund 2.9. No, I'm not going to put my superiors on the spot. I'll just tell you the answer. Why did that happen? It's because of our ambulance license. That's some of that lens I want to change. It's yes, everything that's been said at this podium, $500,000 loss a year anticipated. That is not false. We need to work on that and improve that. But it's on pace to bring in over $3.5 million in 2025. We usually run a quarter behind, so we don't have that information yet. But 3, 4, something. So 6.1 combined budget. Remember that number of that savings on residential alone, that 2.8 is exactly where we hit the general fund. And again, that number, 2.8, 3.0 against the general fund, that is our fire budget plus ambulance shortfall. That total equals that home insurance saving in our city. In addition, like I told you, all agents from all over stated that we save that much in business insurance as well. The last quote I shared was from one of our agents in town that when I was asking about our fire-based EMS delivery system, he said, "You are using those conservative numbers," like I said, it's 20 to 45%. I use 25. He said, "Using those conservative estimates, our ISO of full-time fire saves twice as much as it costs." And now we're getting somewhere, right? That's tangible, that's quantifiable. And that does not include the economic impact of business recruitment and retention, he said that. You saw how I worked with this computer. I don't know if we'll be figuring that number out anytime soon. Fire-based EMS systems, this is why this delivery model is so popular right now. It is sweeping our state. The metro and the rest of the state have created over 75 positions of fire-based EMS delivery each year for the last 3 years. Excuse me. Communities are recognizing that to recruit businesses and boost their economies, they want to separate themselves from their neighbors. They need to be the places that businesses call first. Last quote I'll share that I wrote down was also recognizing that lowering their ISO has greater financial benefits for taxpayers, businesses, and the economy than alternate public safety delivery systems. And my last slide. So preserving this, obviously a high priority of mine. Our next eval is coming soon. 2019 was our last one. They advertise that they do this every 4 to 5 years. We're on year 7, so it's coming. So I do need help with that. And first one is staffing, and I know it's on the agenda coming up here soon. We are currently 5 firefighters short, with a 6th coming. Another member is going to be leaving for his hometown. And why that's important, this isn't 2026 luxury positions. The last time we had a study to show where our staffing should be, 2011. We've added nearly 2,000 calls per year onto that now. I'm not asking for another study. We are having troubles filling the spots we have. But these 5 vacancies we have now, and that's 6 coming, are critical. What we're asking our staff to do is unsafe. And obviously wages as well. I pulled a report from July, and I know that's negotiations and again, seeking nothing today. Pulled a report from July, all full-time fire departments. We were 3rd or 4th from the bottom. And again, I understand tax base. I understand cost of living. I'm not asking you to outpay, Bloomington and Rochester. I am asking not to be last either. So that's just putting that on your radar. Staff and fire marshal training. When we do bring training to you, please know, and we'll be here to explain it all. But it is to improve our ISO. It is for these reclassifications. And solely that. Apparatus, you guys committed to a price last year, and it's expensive, and I understand that. But that is the vital piece of our ISO score. That is the center of every tactic we do. And how that is scored is its availability. And these next 3 years without that new one are going to be very difficult. Over the weekend when I was working on some of this, we had three department messages go out that it's leaking. It keeps leaking from different spots. And what do we know about metal trucks and water and below freezing temperatures? They don't work when you get there. So we'll get through these next 3 years somehow, but that truck is paramount for our ISO rating. Wildland fire response, this is something, again, not asking anything today, but we had those 3 fires last year. We were paged. I know it was a county response, not city. I understand that, but the entire county was responding. We couldn't go. Our 1998 setup for wildland trucks did not start. It was not a battery. We tried jumping it. Our mechanics, they're awesome. They got it going within a couple hours. But it was too late. We reassigned for an evacuation of a hospital in Northern Pines. That will, if I am scored on ISO soon, that will greatly impact that scoring. We were asked to go to a large event, and we're unable. So we definitely got to look at that. And our Deputy Chief Jonason, through his contacts, he did find a truck. Again, not asking for anything today. We'll throw it on an agenda down the road. Brand new 2024. It is 580,000 sticker. Because it was a demo, they said, how about 300-some thousand, 360? We'll even give you a 10-year, no interest loan, 30-some thousand. Well, I want us to look at that. Just again, it is cost, and I understand that's not budgeted this year, and but we're risking a lot by not doing it, and that was my purpose for today. Lastly, radios communication was at 10% of this ISO scoring. And obviously Chief Madsen's working on that quote and grants, and I understand all that, but that's a huge part of it as well. That's all I got. I'll open it up to any questions. Again, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Chief. Councilor Paulson?
Thank you. I just also wanted to say thank you, and thank you to the department for everything that you do to keep that ISO number low. I have friends that actually had to move out of California. One was a real estate agent, And the fire insurance of where they were located was almost double, in some instances, people's mortgages because of that ISO. So I understand how important that is, and I just want to say thank you because that's a really amazingly low number. And that, I mean, the indirect impact that you stated that, you know, maybe the community doesn't see of that, those savings, that is an indirect impact, and there is an indirect economic impact as well. So thank you for that presentation.
Oh, no problem.
Appreciate that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Councilor Paulson. Well, we do recognize ISO is important. It is a factor in business and residential insurance premiums. We also have to balance that with the costs associated with the equipment moving forward. The high cost of capital equipment is a very challenging thing for all communities, including Virginia. So as you make these presentations down the road for capital equipment, tying it to the IOS rating is one thing, but tying it to the levy and the budget is another. So we have to consider that moving forward, and we'll give that serious consideration as you come up with your proposals in the future. So thank you for that. Any other questions for Chief? Thank you for the presentation. Thank you, Assistant Chief Johnson, for being here today. All right, thanks, Chief. Thank
you.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Britt?
The next item on the agenda is the Personnel Committee.
Approve the T2 system
Thank you.
software.
The T2 system software parking ticketing system for the police department. I don't see anybody from the police department here, but
We don't have the chief here. Is this an upgrade of the software of the current system we have?
I can give you a little update, Mayor.
Yes, please, Pam.
Yes, this is currently an upgrade of the new parking monitor system. And it's based on how many tickets are actually, issued. So that's why there is no cost involved or anything, so, because I did request that.
So am I not hearing this right, or am I hearing this right, that we're approving the T2 system software, but there's no cost?
Well, there's a cost, but it's based on your tickets that are issued. So it's not like I can say it's $50,000. It's just based on the usage and issuance of tickets. And I believe that was the same as the one we currently had, correct?
Yeah, so the one that it seems like it's the same company. I was looking at the T2 systems. It looks like there's an annual subscription fee, and then every month we pay based on the number of tickets. And it looks to me like it ranges usually between $100 and $150 a month.
So the question I have, there's a cost-benefit analysis here. How many tickets do we issue every year? How much revenue do we get every year? And what is their overall expenses in that regard? So the cost-benefit analysis would be something I'd be interested in. I think the rest of the council would as well.
Mayor?
Yes,
if you give me
please.
just a second, I can pull it up in the
Thank you.
financial
Thank you,
reports.
Megan.
In theory, in just a second. We'll see how fast this actually moves. Sorry, guys.
Well, if you can get that for us, it's,
Yeah, I'll get it to you.
I
Sorry
appreciate
about that. I
that.
thought it was going to be a lot faster.
Okay, so thank you. We'll go to Councilor Beyondich and then over to Councilor Bachsteiner. Councilor Beyondich.
Thank you. And when you do that, Megan, would it include the cost of the employee that would be doing this? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Councilor Bachsteiner.
I had the same question as well, Mayor and Councilor Beyondich. Those were the two that I had. And I had a third one, and I'm struggling to remember it. So I might need just another minute.
Yeah, I think there was a number that was previously provided to us, but I don't recall what that is. So if you could provide that information for the council and staff, Megan, we appreciate that very much. But so what are we paying now per month for this software?
It looks like we paid an annual fee of about $3,500, and then monthly it's somewhere, depending on tickets, around $100 to $150.
So it was a $3,500 base, and then additional per month depending upon the citation. So is it the more citations we issue, the higher the cost?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And so we're paying, so is there an increase to this software package for $3,500 a year, or has it remained the same? We don't know that. We should know that. And so this is going from the committee of the whole meeting to the council meeting. So if it does move out of the committee of the whole, we'll have to have that information before we put a final vote together on this software package. Councilor Beyondich.
And I would say if we don't have that information today, if you can't pull it up by the end of the meeting, that we move this to the next committee of the whole.
Okay, so we would not move this to the council, we'd move it to the next committee of the whole by request of Councilor Beyondich. Pam?
I could ask the chief to give you a little synopsis of what we have currently and then what the upgrade is for, and have that in the next agenda for the council meeting.
With the complete financials, Megan?
Correct.
So you're comfortable with that going to the council meeting if we decide to move this forward? Okay, thank you. Councilor Bachschneider.
Thank you. I remember what I was going to ask. So we've recently started using a new purchase request form that has like a one-page analysis on purchase. And now it feels like we've only used that in the case of capital item purchases. But I think in cases of a contract, we should also be using that or something similar, right? We're asking all the same questions right now that we would be on that form. Is this budgeted? Like all of those things should be addressed. So I think going forward, when requests like this come in, even for a contract service, that we should be asking department heads to use that form as well. Thank you. I think it would just save us all a lot of discussion that we have with the assistance of that form.
And I concur in addition, and I don't know specifically if there's a place for that, but it should also show what the current contract is and what, if there's any increase in the future contract and how that affects our budget. So thank you for that, Councilor Bachschneider.
Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I'll just add that, and if city staff, when looking at it, doesn't think that current form is the right fit and we should create a sub form for contract services, I would be in support of that as well. I would look to staff to make that recommendation if the purchase form is the right fit, or if we need a separate form with, very similar things, but much more specific to contracts.
Yeah, so we can track and account. Thank you. Okay, any other discussion about this? And if not, we'll be looking for a motion or not to move this to the council meeting for further consideration. Okay, there's Councilor Bachschneider.
Thank you. I know we have staff going on vacation in this next week. So do we realistically think that we can get this information for the council meeting on Tuesday? Okay, so I think if knowing we can get it for the council meeting on Tuesday, I would be comfortable. I don't want to move to approve, but I would move the discussion to the council meeting on next week.
Okay, Councilor Bachschneider moves to move from the committee of the whole meeting to the city council meeting next Tuesday for further discussion regarding the T2 system software parking ticket system for the police department. Is there support? Support. By Councilor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Britt?
The next item on the agenda is the Personnel Committee meeting from February 13th, 2026. Councilor Paulson, do you want me to continue? Oh, thank you. The item that's coming forward from that meeting is the review and approve the updated MOU for the firefighter EMT position.
And this is just a language upgrade based upon the current memorandum of understanding. Councilor Beyondich. Councilor Beyondich moves to approve. Is there support?
Support for further discussion.
By Councilor Paulson, supports for further discussion. Further discussion, Councilor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. And I just want to say thank you to our HR coordinator, Joy, for kind of redoing this so that it, I don't know if she's here, there you are, so that it kind of meets a little bit in the middle. And so part of that, the language change was due to the fact that some programs are semester-based, some programs, they just run a little differently. So in order to make it fair for people to apply and then to go through the process of the timeline, that we put into parameters some language that makes sense and then also gives a little bit of an exception if there are things beyond that trainees' control, basically. So it's just upgrading that language, and I feel like the Personnel Committee felt very comfortable with this. And thank you so much, Joy, did I miss anything on that? Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. And I think what it does as well is make sure that there's a timeline when the application for firefighter paramedic comes, which is a requirement that they be that way, that they will be able to graduate that program within a certain period of time, be eligible to apply for this position, because there is very difficult hiring those people. So it was a great compromise on the part of the Personnel Committee and the Fire Department as well. So thank you for all your hard work on that. So it has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is a resolution to approve the hire of Jedediah Holwa, is that correct? As a dual role firefighter paramedic.
So move.
I'll move to approve by Councilor Bachschnider and supported by Councilor Motley.
For discussion.
Further discussion, Councilor Motley.
So I just want to say in regards to Jed, I've known him over 10 years, and I think he's going to be pending next Tuesday night, and a huge asset for the city of Virginia. I appreciate hard workers, and this guy is going to give you everything. So big pickup and pending next Tuesday. Congratulations, Jed. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. It's been moved and supported to approve the resolution to hire Jedediah Holowa as a dual role firefighter paramedic. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is a resolution to approve the hire of Jason Milroy and Ethan Heidela as dual role firefighter EMTs under the new MOU that we just approved.
So move.
I'll move to approve by Councilor Bachschnider. Is there support by Councilor Beyondich? Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 9 is the Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting held on February 10th, 2026. Number A is to direct city staff to proceed with the development of an easement with the Rough Grouse Society in the city of Virginia to access timber on the adjacent parcel.
So move.
I'll move to approve by Councilor Bachschnider. Is there support?
Support.
By Councilor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries.
Item B from that same meeting was direct city staff to negotiate the sale of the property at market value for parcel ID 0900010-15340 and to include a development agreement with that parcel.
So move.
I'll move to approve by Councilor Bachschnider. Is there support? By Councilor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? So for the public's edification, where is this parcel at? Jenny? Or,
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
This parcel is located adjacent to, or in the vicinity of 506 4th Street. Oh, excuse me, I'm on the wrong sheet. It's over by the school. I don't have the exact address. It is a vacant parcel that a property owner in the neighborhood is looking to acquire.
okay.
I will continue to look for the address for you, but I don't have it on hand.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion, Councilor Paulson?
Thank you, Mayor. And I think it's in our packet on page 75. Is it 506 4th Street South?
Yes, thank you. I did find that. I thought it was in reference to something else, but yes, the adjacent or the property owner nearby is at 503 South Fifth Ave.
Okay. And then the question I have is, what size lot is this? Is this a 25-foot lot?
Nope, I did look that up during the meeting, during the Buildings and Grounds meeting, and I believe it's 37 and a half. It's over 25 feet.
So it can allow for a garage structure to be built, which is what the intent is from the person who wants to purchase.
Correct.
Parcel.
And there are certain parameters that they'll need to meet in terms of setbacks and lot coverage and things of that nature.
Okay, but it is okay for a garage to be built there.
It is a buildable lot as long as it meets all the other
Perfect.
parameters. So
Thank
it depends on what's being proposed exactly. So
Very good, thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Paulson. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Next item, please, Britt.
Thank you. The next item, item number 10, is approve the cannabis microbusiness retail endorsement registration for retail operations for Patrick and Kelly Finnegan, doing business as Finnegan Farms LLC at 603 North 9th Street.
Okay, thank you. We did have a meeting the other day. We were in attendance and talked to the Finnegans and the actual building owner of that property. And she also owns the two adjacent former residential properties there. About the business, we did ask a significant amount of questions and look for some clarification. Jenny Boubinet, our planning coordinator, was there. And so I asked a lot of questions, and I think Councilor Paulson was there as well. There were some questions to be asked and answered for this meeting, and then if necessary, what decisions we're going to make, whether we move this forward to the council meeting or not. And one of those questions is there are, Mr. Heisel is in the audience today. He is owner of the Northgate Plaza. There were some questions about whether or not this microbusiness, which is going to be located right at the old North Star Drug Building, right next to some residential properties across from the Northgate Plaza, if the autism center that's currently operating as a lease with Northgate Plaza, it meets the issues with respect to school or the 1,000-foot barrier that's been established by our zoning ordinance. And then also if the Bridge to Independence 18 to 22-year-olds is an actual school or not. So I'm looking for some information, some clarification on that. But before we do so, before we go to our city attorney for some potential clarification, we'll move to Councilor Paulson. Councilor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, and that we both attended that meeting and got a lot of more clarification and understanding. However, now we've gotten a few email correspondence, so I guess I need to ask legal on the 6.11 ordinance that Virginia currently has in the books. And as I was reading that one, I was scrolling on section 6, and then we have a tobacco ordinance, section 6.33, that includes the word cannabinoid and cannabinoid products, and it also describes a youth facility or a youth-oriented facility in the language of the ordinance. It says youth-oriented facility, any facility with residents, customers, visitors, or inhabitants, of which 25% or more are regularly under the age of 21, or that primarily sells, rents, or offers services or products that are consumed or used primarily by persons under the age of 21. Youth-oriented facility includes but is not limited to schools, playgrounds, recreation centers, and parks. So that's in our current tobacco ordinance. So I guess I need to understand, does one trump the other, the new cannabis language, the new email that we got? And then I don't know, was there another email that we should have received? We received one from the Minnesota Autism Centers regarding ordinance 6.11. Was there another? There was another one. Have we received that one yet? And who did you send that to?
Mr. Heisel, if you wouldn't mind to answer that question, but Councilor Paulson, please do so. So we are being recorded today, so let the general public hear the question that was posed by Councilor.
Yes, there was a correspondence from my attorney regarding the thing, And that was sent yesterday afternoon to Pam. And it was asked to be distributed to everybody.
I know we were, it was a holiday yesterday, so city offices were closed, but if we could maybe get that email forwarded to us, and then the questions that I have would be directly with those two ordinances, Brian, 6.11, thank you, Pam, and 6.33, and thank you, Mr. Heisel. And then we just received an email from Jenny, our community development coordinator, with a statement on that 6.11, and that kind of, it talks about a public hearing. We can turn down land use and zoning subdivision, I don't know. So I guess I'm really looking for what needs to happen here with the interpretations. And I really feel frustrated that we didn't have these conversations prior to this coming up on our agenda. I feel like that is very important, that we all know what we have on the books. If we need to clean up previous ordinance language, then we need to do that. But it seems to be a little contradictory. And when you had talked about ambiguity previously in our conversation, and it was left up to your interpretation and Jenny's as our community development planning coordinator, you both had that same interpretation. And I respect that interpretation. But again, we talked about ambiguity. And so now I'm wondering what we do with this new information. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, before we go to our legal, so, I mean, I don't blame anybody for where we're at today, because we, planning and zoning went through this ordinance, we all went through this ordinance, we all vetted out, we all got input, we had input about that. We all thought we had an ordinance that was solid. We all agreed that that was the case. And this was a yeoman's work from planning and zoning to bring that to us in that regard. So now we're at a stage we have some questions. I don't think anybody's to blame here. I just think that we have to need some more clarification now when new information has come forward, not only from business owners, from public alike, but from additional research that was done. So with that being said, I'd like to move to our legal attorney for some additional information. Brian?
Clarify, Mayor?
Yes, please.
If I might, just
Yeah,
really
please
quick.
do.
Not that I'm blaming anybody. I just wish it would have come before the council sooner to have a discussion on these key factors. So I don't want you to feel like I'm blaming anyone.
Well, you know, we just became aware of these things. So, I mean, if we should have done it before, we just became aware of it and we're trying to address it now. And I admire your passion for this as we had that discussion at the previous meeting. Brian?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm taking in all the new information as it's coming available. I did have an opportunity to review the section 6.11 statement. That statement is limited. So the ability of the city to deny licenses pursuant to 6.11 is limited to those things that are regulated within Chapter 6 of our ordinances. I'm reviewing the tobacco ordinance as we're talking. And so those were the primary new pieces of information that I had. So I'm looking through those, Mayor, and I'll get back to you as soon as I get a chance to read through.
Okay, thank you. And I think part of this planning and zoning issue, I think we added into our ordinance, I believe, it actually was added to our tobacco ordinance. Is that correct? So that's all encompassing into that. So looking for some clarification there would be very important. And I know this is new information for you, Brian, and we're just looking for some clarification on what's legal and what's not, and what our options are and what the options are not. So, I mean, I made some statements earlier, and I'll say it right now. I'm going to say it at the council meeting. I made some statements earlier at the last council meeting about my personal beliefs, and I did set that aside to make sure that, you know, what my personal beliefs are, my emotional things are set aside, and I want to do what's legal and prudent, what the law authorizes and requires. But there was a Facebook posting, and I'm going to say it now because it's part of this discussion. There was a Facebook posting that indicated by an individual, and I'll mention his name at the council meeting, that said that, well, is the mayor as opposed to weed in the city of Virginia? Well, maybe personally I am, but professionally, we have to follow the law. So decisions that I make is based on the law, not based on my emotions, not based on my opinions. And when you say on the Facebook posting that I am against weed, but yet I'm an avid user of alcohol, it's not true. I do not drink, so be advised. Thank you. Anything else? Councilor Motley?
For me personally, based on the information disseminated, I am not comfortable moving this forward. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Brian, you had your light on?
Oh,
Okay, good. Okay, so Councilor Skelko, and then over to Councilor Bachstetter. Councilor Skelko.
Quick question here. It says that this autism center operates as a daycare. Is that a licensed daycare, or is this just hearsay that we're a daycare?
Jenny, you have some information about that? It was outlined here in your email, but thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. As to my knowledge, it's not a licensed daycare that I've been able to find. I think it falls into what would be considered programming of the Minnesota Autism Center at that building location, and that's my understanding of that situation, similar to the Bridge to Independence as well.
Okay, and I'm just going to speak probably as the only person who's been to one of these in anywhere. I did some homework, and I've been to 9 different states that have these dispensaries. And I just want you to know, like, we've heard Last Place on Earth, we've heard some stuff, and those were facilities that operated under non-regulated, no regulations. They had, synthetic marijuana back in the day. This is completely different. When you walk into a dispensary, whether it was Illinois, California, Montana, I've been to New York, Maine is the best. If anyone goes to Maine, check them out. They're very, very nice. But these are like a boutique. I mean, these are like kind of going into Maya's old flower shop with cannabis. They are super, super highly regulated. They are super highly regulated. The amount of scrutiny they put on safety is outrageous. Like when you go into these, it's not the Joe Blows who are going to be standing at the street corners waiting to get in when the doors open. This is just, it's a mind shift of what was and what really is. So I just want people to understand that what the Finnegans are bringing is a holistic, it's a wellness center. They're partnering with licensed therapists to bring in things that people want today. Like there's options. We were talking about liquor stores. Like for 5 years, I haven't had any liquor. I often will go to these distilleries or whatever when I'm on the road. So they are very good for the community. And when I came here, I said, I'm going to build for the future. And I want to bring people back to Virginia. And I'm just going to say that this business is something that will help Virginia grow in the future. It's a piece of many, many pieces that we have to do, but we have to shift the mindset of this old Last Place on Earth, and we're going to have crime, and we're going to have this. These are very, very controlled, regulated, clean, beautiful facilities that will actually help people in the community, whether it's for autistic people, whether it's for a lawyer, whether it's for a doctor, whether it's for a teacher, whether it's for just your average person. Everybody's going to go to these that want to partake in them, and it is the way of the future. And I just hope that after we get through the legalities of this, and Brian, you find that this is in a zoning regulation, that is fine. That we all agree to approve this and move forward with it.
Yeah, thank you, Councilor Skelko. Councilor Bachschneider?
Thank you. I've had many people reach out to me on both sides of this, both expressing their concerns, but also expressing their support for it. In my understanding of the 6.11 email that came around the licensing denial and fixing rates, I think we're saying that we only need to have a public hearing if we deny it and if we don't have a legal reason to deny it. And I want that to, that's my understanding. So if we approve it, we don't need a public hearing. But I think given the information today, specifically around the email, Jenny, that you had printed out and put on our desks, stating that the Northland Learning Center works with this Bridge to Independence 18 to 22 transition program, which in our conversation is what we're calling the Autism Center. Is that correct? So what's this one then?
This is the Bridge to Independence and the Autism Center are two separate ones.
Yep. So
They're two separate programs within that building.
And so my question is that from a legal perspective, are there any concerns? Brian, do you feel like there's more that you need to research? Or do you think given from a legal perspective and our current zoning, which we are stating that our current zoning, this would be permitted, are there any concerns that we have?
If I may.
Mr. Lindsay?
Thank you. So, Counselor, Ms. Bourbonnais has been working tirelessly to gather the information. The information that she's passed along to me about the definitional requirements, I find to be accurate. The one thing that I'm looking at now is with the this new introduction of this youth-oriented business activity from 6.33, whether it changes the initial opinion. My initial opinion was that this was a permitted activity within the B1 zone, and because of the definitional requirements that it was not prohibited by the location of the programming or those activities in Mr. Heisel's business property. The youth-oriented activity, I don't want to give an opinion and then pull it back, but as I'm reading through it, it seems to be that youth-oriented activity provisions within 6.33 seems to be focused at the business where the activity is conducted. It wouldn't necessarily redefine our buffer zones within the zoning area. It would define how the city could affect licenses on particular premises where activities were being undertaken, whether it's the sale. I don't think we have to worry about the consumption or smoking of anything, because our ordinances are very clear that, Clean Air Act and the health and safety of the general public, we're not allowing smoking openly in public places. And so there's a little bit more reading I need to do just so that I want to get an accurate opinion to you. And sometimes that accurate opinion takes a little bit longer. And this is new information that I'm trying to assimilate into the opinion that I had originally.
Thank you, Brian. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. And thank you, Jenny, as well, for all your hard work on this in the last week. I think knowing that I don't feel comfortable approving today, but I would feel comfortable if you think a week's time is enough time to research this final piece of information to come forward. So I would move this discussion to the council meeting for further information.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Bachschneider. Is there support?
Support.
By Councillor Skelko. Further discussion. If I may, you had a question, then we'll go to Councillor Beyondich.
Thank you, Mayor. Just for clarification, under the 6.1, it's referencing the public hearing for a license. We are not issuing the license. We are only approving a registration. The state has to issue the license. They have to come in. They have to determine the facility, which this can take up to 18 months before they are even approved to begin their retail business. There are very many restrictions, and if anyone would like to come and read their application that she sent me, it's amazing it's not amazing, but it's very strict on what they have to do. It's not just open the doors and come in and sell cannabis to anybody that walks in. They have a lot of restrictions to follow. And like Councillor Skelko, I have been to the facility in Grand Rapids. You have to wear a hat, things on your feet, a white coat. They are monitored. Everything is tested daily. They cannot provide anything without a test. So just so the council aware, this is a registration process only.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Beyondich.
Thank you. Because this is going to take some time, I would like to table this until our legal has the appropriate time to have all of the materials provided.
There was a motion on the floor, right, to move it for further discussion at the next council meeting, and there was support for that, so there's discussion on the table at this point in time. So you're going to supersede that by asking for this to be tabled. Is there support for the tabling motion? Is there support for the tabling motion?
Support.
Support by Councillor Motley. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
Gelko,
No.
Buffy,
No.
Johnson is absent. Motley,
Yes.
Paulson,
Aye.
Beyondich,
Aye.
Bachschnider.
No.
Motion fail. Motion does not pass. So for me.
Mayor?
Yes.
If I think, Councilor
Go ahead.
Beyondich, we're accomplishing the same thing, right? He's saying a week is enough time, and so we are essentially tabling it for a week. So I don't think that there's additional need to table. I think and Attorney Lindsay, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we are accomplishing the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. If we weren't able to do that, there was enough time to table a motion, I think would have been an appropriate thing to do. So for me, it's not about the permit application. It's not about the zoning piece. It's not about the fact that the state of Minnesota passed this law allowing this and mandating that each city provide at least one dispensary. It's a mandate that we have to follow. So it's the zoning regulations that are the issue we have to clarify, number one. Number two, it's the health and safety issue, which I will be addressing at the next council meeting. So it has nothing to do with the way the process is, the application, all this stuff that the people have to go through in their application process. It has to do with the human aspect of it. So I'll be making more a long, significant discussion at the next council meeting about this as it moves forward, if it does move forward. Councillor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. So I guess I just want to bring attention to this current email we just received. And I'd like to read it. It says, Earl, I want to follow up on our discussion concerning the proposal by the City of Virginia to license a cannabis dispensary in the Old North Star Drug Building. I understand that this would be within the prohibited distance of the Autism Center under regulations that do not allow for this sort of cannabis facility near the Autism Center, which operates as a daycare facility for its clients. I also understand that it does not need any separate licensing as a daycare center to use the facilities in the manner presently operated, and that this use prescribes the issuance of the license to operate the cannabis facility by the City of Virginia. The issue is not the type of license held by the Autism Center, but simply its use in that location. I am sure that the city will recognize that the issuance of a permit to the cannabis facility is improper under these circumstances. If despite the obvious, the city does issue such a license, we can discuss the parameters of a suit to enjoin such action, and I would assume that Minnesota Autism would gladly join forces in that matter. And this is sent from Robert Pearson from Johnson, Killen, and Seiler, attorney. So with that, I have not read that. With that reading, that there could be a potential lawsuit and enjoyment, I don't know that it's in our best interest to move forward at all.
So before we do that, I would like to
Because
clarify.
it sounds like it's an interpretation of use now.
Yeah, so before we do that, I just want to clarify what our city clerk brought forth. We are not issuing a license. It's just a registration. We don't issue the license, the state does. So from a licensure perspective, I would ask legal to respond to that and whether we need to try to clarify that or not. Brian?
Thank you, Mayor. So what I'll do, I'll take all the information that we've received here. I'll go back and I'll research it one more time, put together a formal opinion that I'll deliver to the council by memo.
Thank you, Brian. Counselor Bachschneider, then back over to Counselor, I'm sorry. Did you want to continue on with that same theme, Counselor?
I just wanted to
Yeah, please
add
do.
one
Okay.
thing, Brian, if you could also just, is there a way that, I mean, I feel like this would really clarify things. If the state of Minnesota recognizes autism centers as daycare, if they treat them as such, that would answer, I think, a lot of the ambiguity that we're seeing here. Is that a potential to find that out from the state of Minnesota?
Mr. Lindsay?
So what I'll do, I can follow up on that. I can also, but the primary issue is how is the state statute interpreted as far as these buffer zone applications? That's the critical question.
I was just trying to clarify if the motion was still on the floor, and it is. Counselor Bachschneider.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to do the same. Pam, can you repeat the motion back? I just want to ensure that it's still aligned with where I wanted it to be when I made it, and I forgot.
So moved by Counselor Bachschneider, and that was supported by Counselor Skalko, correct?
Yes.
To move to the council meeting for further information.
Perfect, thank you. And I think, like I mentioned, I think this is essentially tabling it, but directing city staff, so Brian and Jenny, to do this research based on the information we had today to ensure that it is aligned. I think we need to remember that, at least I need to remember that attorney language is beyond what I can comprehend. And if we need to ensure that the email that we receive from this attorney is truly in alignment with what the state statute is. So thank you.
And I think it was prudent to continue with the discussion because it's such an important issue. And I understand the reason for the tabling motion as well, because we want to make sure we have all the information for next week's agenda item for the council meeting. And Brian had indicated he'd be willing to have that. So there is a motion on the floor to move this item number 10 under Building and Grounds to the city council for additional information and discussion. Is there any further discussion at this motion? Councillor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just feel that we still have a lot more to discuss. So I would like to, I would rather just see it at the committee of the whole, but that's just me. So I just don't think I'm going to support that right this morning.
Well, I think the motion on the floor is to move it to the council meeting for additional discussion, not approval. So we're going to discuss it. If we don't come to a discussion where we need some additional information, then we could continue to move it back to the committee of the whole for more information. So the motion on the floor is for discussion purposes only at the next council meeting. So it has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Roll call, please, Pam.
Huffy?
Aye.
Absent. Motley?
Yes.
Paulson?
No.
Beyondich?
No.
Bachschneider?
Aye.
Skalko?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-2. Thank you. Okay. Any other item to come before the committee of the whole meeting today? I have one item I'd like to bring on everybody's radar. It's the memo and the email sent to us by Jim Rosvit regarding the 6th Avenue project, regarding the freezing of the water lines, regarding the water lines being frozen as a result of the steam conversion being moving forward, and the examples that he gave with respect to some of the freezing lines that we've had before, and there has been one before right off on 6th Avenue, and that I forget it was at 4th Street, where the old the grocery store. What the heck is the name of that? Natural Harvest Store is now owned and operated by Stifel Nichols, and then rented in another spring. That froze. And so we have to talk about that. We have to figure out, how we're going to remedy that moving forward. So I think we should find a way to have Mr. Rosvit come in and let's talk about this, because I think it's critical that we find a way in which to ensure that this doesn't happen on a regular basis. As spring approaches, as the thaw freezes, as the thaw moves up from the bottom, additional water lines will likely go. So thank you. Councilor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. I would agree with that. Maybe I would also say we should bring in folks from the VPU that need to be a part of that discussion, because I feel like the VPU is responsible for the water line. The city is responsible for sanitary and storm. So we really shouldn't be having the water discussion without the VPU, who is in charge of water lines freezing or staying open.
I agree with you 100% because after today's meeting, I'm going over to the Department of Public Utilities to talk about that very issue in addition to the information that we're going to need from them as we go to the legislature to hopefully testify and plead our case for our bonding request.
Okay, thank you. And then I just had one other
Yes, please.
item of
Go ahead.
concern, if I may. So I just want to start this process differently than the last time we had someone approach the city. I have been approached by someone who wants to buy the old fire hall. And I need to know how we want to go about in doing that. But I want to be transparent and above board and open because the last time it felt like people were saying that it wasn't. So this, I want to just put it out there. I have been approached. I don't know the proper procedure in which to go, but I do know that the steam conversion issue is coming up soon and that needed a roof. And I think discussion can be had regarding the bays and storage and blah, blah, blah. But I do have an entity that would be potentially interested, so I would like to know what to do with that information.
So it would be my suggestion, if it's amenable to the council and appropriate with respect to legal, I would refer to Jenny, our community development director, to talk about this building and how it works and what needs to be done to make it ready for sale. But before we do that, we'll go to Councilor Bachschneider. Councilor Bachschneider.
Thank you. The only question I have is I want to make sure in the funding process, because we got some federal grant money, that we have to keep the building for so long. So I just want to make sure that these conversations are in alignment with how long we have to keep the building. That's the only thing that to keep in mind in the discussion, but otherwise exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think that's a task that Jenny has tackled before, and hopefully we'll tackle again. But before we go for any comment from you, Jenny, back to Councilor Paulson.
Thank you. And I just wanted to make sure that's what we wanted to do with it. That's why I'm bringing it up. Like, I know the proper thing would be to go to Jenny and Britt. I just want to make sure that's what this council wants to do. So do we need to make a decision on that?
Well,
I think it's an option to do. I think it's
I
an
don't
option.
want to get the cart before the horse and then have the person not make it happen.
I think it's an option. But right now, we're storing the sprint medical things in there. I mean, there's a lot of things we have to discuss about that. The SHPO, all those kind of things. How do we prepare that for it? And do we really want to sell it or not? And of course, the distribution of all the buildings that we have and what we own and how we want to try to rid ourselves of some of those buildings. And so it's not on the city rolls is, I think, bodes well for discussion. So I would look forward to moving forward with discussing not specifically selling that, but as one of the options for that building. Councilor Bachschneider.
thank you. And my understanding is when we've tried to make motions in the past to declare our intention that, and Britt did it again, we were strongly advised against because of this funding. And so I don't think that we can all give our opinions of what we want to do with it, and I'm good with selling it, right? But like that we need to be careful in motion directive language and that we should not be doing that because of the funding piece at this point.
And is that,
And I think that's what you just bring it out there for discussion, and Jenny can do all that research to determine what the best mode to go from a discussion perspective, not from a motion to do a specific thing with that building.
I like that. I like where you're going with that. Is there, the funding piece though has sunsetted?
No, that's that resolution we pulled in item number 3 today. We're pulling that because there is a dollar amount that goes with it, a bond payment that we have to do the interest for this year, and we levied for it for this year. So we want to do that closing in May, which would be closer to the time that we would get the money from the county. So
So it would be freed up in May?
after May.
After May,
Yeah,
okay.
30 days after May 10th.
Okay, so it wouldn't be too premature to start
it'd be great
this
to start
discussion
discussing.
now? Okay.
But no motions is what.
No motions, I like that, I think that's great. I will direct the person to get a hold of Jenny moving forward. And then I think that will suffice. So I just understand that I'm doing things properly. Is that correct? Yes, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Jenny, do you want to comment on that at all?
Nope, I understand the process moving forward. Thank
I
you.
know you do. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, anything else on that subject? Okay, is there any other items to come before the committee whole meeting today? Thank you, everybody, for your hard work. We will stand adjourned. It is at 10:21 a.m. Thank you. Have a great day. We stand adjourned.